Here we are, day number 26. Day number 26, guys, and it is been quite the journey. And I want to give a shout out to Sam Crowley of Every Day is Saturday, which is where I got a lot of my start from, a lot of inspiration, a lot of guidance. Sam Crowley was actually my coach for a little bit. I went over to his Facebook group and I let him know about this group that I'd created, and he got excited and he shared, he had me on his podcast and interviewed me and shared it with his group, and he really shared it with his mailing list and shared it with everybody else and his podcast, and really made me excited to have somebody else share that excitement with what it is I'm doing, as well as just having everybody reach out. The people that are reaching out, let me know that they're interacting with it. Let me know what they spent their money on. It's just a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun for me. And I'm going to skip right to the encouraging texts that are on the bottom of each one of these emails today, as we receive this check for $3,355,443,200 and no sense. That's what they would say. That's what they would say. But I'm gonna skip right down to the bottom here, because this line that comes from Wallace D. Wattles in our words of encouragement today is one of the driving forces, one of the differentiators, I believe, in how you can continue to find abundance in your life. The line is, get rich by the creative method and not by the competitive one. And what does that mean? What does that mean? If you see a Gucci bag down the street and you go copy that, that's not really being creative. You're stealing, and you're being competing. You're being a competitor directly for that bag. It's not really yours. It's not your idea. And there's also, there's in the competitive space, we look at this, and we can look at this in a way I recently learned in a negotiating book. We can say, in the competitive space, if we look at a piece of pie, say a piece of anchovy pizza, for example, and in a competitive space, one person gets 50%, the other person gets 50%. All right, 50-50, straight down the middle. Everybody's got 50% of the pizza. Everybody should be happy, right? Well, what if you only like the crust of the pizza? And what if I really love anchovy pizza? Then another way that we can divide this pizza up is by giving you all of the crust. So you get all of the crust, not just 50% of the crust, and I get all of the anchovy pizza. Well, that's like 100%. We went from a 50-50 opportunity to 100% opportunity. We have created something. We have created something, and we did not compete for those things. If you looked over at me and you're like, are you going to eat your crust? I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to eat my crust. I'd be like, hey, can I have the crust? I'll give you the crust. And I'll be looking over at you and be like, hey, can I have, it doesn't look like you like anchovies. You're just like picking them off. You're like, anchovies are disgusting. Well, that doesn't serve any purpose. But if we know ahead of time that we have another option to divvy this thing up from 50-50 to, again, you get all the crust, I get all the anchovy. You're getting 100% of what you want, and I'm getting 100% of what I want. We have just created 200% of something. So I think a lot of times, if we step back and take a second to see what the desired outcome really is for you, and the desired outcome really is for me, we can find that you're going to get 100% of what you want from me, and I'll get 100% from you of what I'm looking for in the situation. And nobody's at a loss. Everybody's in a gain then. And that's the gist. That's one way of looking at getting rich by the creative method, not the competitive one. So really understanding your product, understanding your client, understanding, exactly where you are, and not just looking at the obvious answer, but like, all right, you take 50%, I'll take 50%, and everybody rolls out, because that's not going to make everybody happy in the end. Somebody's going to be like, man, Brandon got all the anchovy pizza, and I love anchovies. Maybe some, there could have been another way out of that, right? And so I just encourage you to take a look at other ways outside of like the obvious and really kind of delve into it. That negotiation book was that came from a negotiation course on Coursera, which I took for no cost. And I'm walking away to get the book. I bought the book, and the book was Negotiating for Success, Essential Strategies and Skills by George Seidel of University of Michigan. Worth a read, worth kind of picking that up to try and explore other ways that you could be creative, especially in a negotiation setting. The other one comes from us. The other words of encouragement come to us from Catherine Ponder. Catherine Ponder, I have no idea who you are, Catherine, but I thought this was kind of a fun visual quote. If you want greater prosperity in your life, start forming a vacuum to receive it. Hells yeah, everybody's running around with a vacuum and just trying to suck up prosperity. Well, look for it. You have the ability to create that vacuum yourself. You are that vacuum for prosperity. Just imagine you're walking around, and everywhere you're walking, you maybe hold your hand out like an invisible, like slightly in front of you, and nobody's going to notice this as you're walking around. No, but just you. You're the only one's going to know. You're the only one paying attention to you anyways. You walk around, just put your little hand out in front of you just a little bit, like you're holding an invisible vacuum, and you're just sucking up prosperity. Guess what? There's enough for everybody. Don't tell anybody that you're doing it, because then again, they're going to be like, "Hey, you're sucking up my prosperity." You're not. You're not. We can take a thimble to the ocean. We can take a cup to the ocean. We can take a dump truck. We can suck as much out of it. It's not going to impact that ocean. And the same thing happens with prosperity, and it's all around you. So take your vacuum, walk around, suck it up, and receive it. Just allow for it to happen in your life. Hope that this has been inspirational for you. Hope that you're so close. We're almost there, right? We've spent like almost $7 billion by now, by the end of today. And we still have a few more days left, but we're almost at the end. And how has your mind changed? What new thoughts have you had? Do you walk around and say, all right, well, one guy bought the Portrait of the Artist Without a Beard, $98.5 million. Who even goes around looking for these? Because you're not doing that now, or you weren't previously. What were you doing? I'm just curious. If you weren't going through this prosperity practice, what would you be doing with yourself? Right? That's an honest question. I'm kind of curious. If you weren't going through this, what would you be doing, and how would you be spending your time? And has this been a good use of your time? Please let me know so I can share your responses with others, and others can understand what other insights are available. Take care. This has been Brandon Hanley with the Prosperity Practice.